Jimmy Trujillo.
Jimmy, what's going on here today?
We're having the Heritage Festival, and basically what it is we're trying to show the way people lived back in the colonial period probably during the 1800s, even as early as the 1600s. Some of the work that's being done will follow tradition as closely as possible. I personally do the encrusted straw art, and I've actually been instrumental in reviving the straw work in the traditional technique, the way it was being done back in the 16, 17, and 1800s. The technique entails using, of course, you make the cross out of ponderosa pine, which was a readily available material during the colonial period. So what you do, you hewn the wood down. This piece of wood has never been sanded down or anything. It's all done with a draw knife or a pocket knife to give you a smooth surface. Now the face where your design work is being done, we'll use, in this case, the pinon pine resin as a glue and as a varnish. That material is what was available and what was closer to what was being used in Spain, which was using a variety of resins and varnishes, but not having other materials to create the varnishes and resins and lacquers. They resorted to what was available, in this case, the pinon pine resin.
This is an amazing piece of artwork. Can you tell me a little bit about it? What you did here?
This here was to imitate the gilded crosses of Spain, or gold and ebony. The wood originally would have been darkened with soot and a fine layer of mutton fat to adhere it to the wood. Then, of course, after that, you would use the pinon pine resin as a glue. And in that, you would cut the straw, which looked like gold or gold leaf, embedding that material into the resin. And then another layer of that resin, but in a thinner consistency, was used to seal the piece, therefore encrusting your straw. So therefore the material or the technique is called encrusted straw art. In the 30s, the work was revived again because it died out in the mid to late 1800s. And it was revived in the 30s using the applique technique, or using one of the white carpenter glue, kind of like, well, for lack of a better one, say kind of like Elmer's glue. And that material was laid onto the surface or glued onto the surface of the wood, creating an applique technique. So they're two totally different techniques, but a somewhat similar effect. Now, I have been doing this work for 33 years, started in 1984. So I've been at it for a good long while, and I currently have, I think it's like 7 or 8 of my students that are actually in Spanish Market. And
Spanish Market is in Santa Fe,
Santa Fe, a very traditional market.
When is that coming this year?
That is the last full weekend in July. I believe this year is the 28th, 9th, and 30th. Around that time frame. I'm not exactly sure of the dates, but it'll be right around there.
And your students will be there?
How's that?
Your students will be there?
I myself will be there. Some of my students, or most of my students, will be there. What's interesting is that we now have either second, well, I would say I'm first generation, then I've got second generation my students, but we also have third generation kids now that are students of my students that are doing the encrusted straw art. So thank God, it's like I really wanted to revive the work in the traditional technique, and it seems like it has happened. It's going. It's snowballing. Kind of a slow snowball, but it's getting there. It's creating more and more students that are doing this work again in the traditional technique. Although right now I'm the only one of the group that is working with a hand split, hand hewn wood. A lot of them are still working in milled lumber. Of course, milled lumber didn't start till the mid 1800s. Prior to that, you had to make your own boards using either an old mill style by hand cutting a lot of your wood. But I do a lot. I will make some pieces such as this one that are in milled lumber. But a lot of my major pieces will be done again using the hand split, hand hewn lumber. And right now, like I say, I'm the only one that is using the hand split, hand hewn lumber.
How is it that someone can get a hold of you?
Like
you have a Facebook?
This. No, I don't. I don't do Facebook. It's just my shows.
Jimmy E. Trujillo.
Yeah, they just look for Jimmy E. Trujillo. You can Google my name, and you can find some of my work by going that way. By Googling my name, you can find some of my work on there. I'm not very computer savvy, so I don't.
Phone calls are better.
Yes, definitely. You can get a hold of me through a phone call. You can get a hold of me by word of mouth from other people that know me or have talked about it. And that's about it. That's pretty much about it.
So where are we here today? What's going on here today? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The Hispanic Heritage has been going on for quite a while, and this is part of the city. Actually, Casa San Ysidro is part of the Albuquerque Museum. So, but every year there's 2 shows or 2 venues that are held here. One of them, of course, the spring show, which is Heritage Day, and then they have the Harvest Festival in the fall. Again, they both follow the same theme with people such as the weavers over here that are doing things the way everything was done in the colonial period. Again, it's not so much trying to sell things as it is to try to educate people on what was being done in that period of time.
Amazing. I'd like to go ahead and thank you and thank your wife very much for letting me bother you guys today.
Thank you.
Best of luck today. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.